Greetings and welcome to my channel. For those of you who are seeing my face for the very first time, welcome to my channel. My name is ANZA-T. Today I am doing something rather very different on my channel, something far from beauty related content. Today we are going to be talking about a pressing issue in South Africa at the current moment, which is gender-based violence. Now, gender-based violence can be classified as a hate crime against the opposite gender. Mostly the primary victims are females, girls, and yeah, this is a very serious issue. In the past few weeks we've had an increased amount of cases that have been rising up about hurtful things that are done to women, rape, abuse, and all that bad stuff. So in this video today I am joined by a panel of women who are breaking the silence, women who are speaking up against gender-based violence. And yeah, let's just get right into this video and address this issue. The purpose of this video is to raise more awareness, to educate someone there. So if you are watching this video today, I would highly recommend that you share it with your friends, you share it with your family. You could educate and change someone's mental state, someone's way of thinking, which may be wrong. So let's get right into this video. The video will be in a question and answer format, and the ladies will be taking on the questions individually at each step. The first question is, what are your thoughts on gender-based violence?
I think it's totally unacceptable in all forms, especially against women and children. Globally, 1 in 3 women experience some type of abuse, and it's more distressing, especially in South Africa, because a lot of women are subjected to or fall victim to abuse, rape, and murder.
Okay, my thought about gender-based violence. I think it's something very horrible. It is something that needs to be stopped by all means. Women are being victim of the violence that men, the abuse of men on them, and that's not fair. I think this needs definitely to come to an end, one way or the other.
What are my thoughts on gender-based violence? I have thought about it, and I refuse to call it gender-based violence purely because I refuse to believe that there are men out there that just want to target women. For me, I see it as violence of the stronger human over the younger one. So I put gender-based violence and violence against children in the same box, because I refuse to believe that there are boys that are raised to violate women in such a way. I do think it's a power issue that a man or a boy wants to exert his power over a weaker person. Or yeah, those are my main thoughts. There's no other ways to normalize what we're going through besides thinking that it is a power race or a power struggle.
Well, I think for a long time it's been a very big problem, and the fact that people are only now starting to realize just how big the problem is shocking. But I think it's because people have started speaking out on it now more than they ever have. But I think it's been a big problem for a very long time. And I think if we really want to do something about it and make a change, people will have to really start speaking out more, and they'll have to be listened to. People will need to start acknowledging that this really is a big problem and start taking action towards doing something about it.
My thoughts on gender-based violence is that actually living as a woman in this country is actually very scary. So you wake up with the thought of you don't even know when you step out of your house what's going to happen. So to live a life like that is actually really scary, and you even feel and captured in your own self. So it's very scary. That's all I can say.
It's gender-based violence. You know, when I think of gender-based violence, I think it's very inhumane. It's cruelty to other human beings just because another human being feels like they have power on another. I think it's very wrong for other people to treat other people as if they are nothing. It's to devalue another person based on what you think about them, based on their gender, and you think they are weak, so you take advantage of them. So I think it's very cruel and inhumane.
What do you think needs to be done to completely eliminate gender-based violence, or is that even possible to eliminate it?
Violent behavior is often learned at home, and children grow up thinking that it's okay to be violent. They think it's normal and acceptable. Hence, prevention starts early in life, where we should teach our young men to honor and respect women, and also about gender equality. And another thing is, if you see abuse being or happening or taking place against women, then you should report it, because if you don't report it and you do nothing about it, then you're helping the attacker. But if you do report it, then remember you are helping the victim.
Completely, I'm not sure. Completely is such a strong word. But we can work toward a better place, to find ourselves in a better place. We need to think about our actions. We need to start by speaking out. We need to speak out about everything that is happening out there, because being silent is really participating one way or the other to those violences. So it's very important that we speak out. It's important that I'm sure at your workplace, in your house, you have someone who is a victim, or you know someone who does that to someone else, or you see signs, but we think it's normal, we take it as normal. To those who encourage those type of actions, I want to remind you that that woman who is being raped is your mother. I want to remind you that that woman is your sister. I mean, we should stop taking part of those actions one way or the other. We also need to train the next generation. It's important that we raise kids who know their values. It's important that they know how important it is to treat others right. So yeah, I think we can start there, and surely we will see something different happening in our society. And one thing that I also need to add is that very strict measures need to be taken in government state. It's really important that the decision that they take regarding those criminals are being respected. It's very important that they take actions. How do you feel about being raped today and having to work to live your whole life with the person who raped you every day? So something definitely needs to be done, and we need to start where we can. And yeah.
Okay, I think everyone has to go back to the fact that we have to treat each other equally. whether it's different gender, different age groups, different races. We need to eradicate violence in general, because if we're only focusing on gender-based violence, and there's going to be a different type of violence, I think we have to go back to let's treat the other as we would want to be treated. You know, I've seen a lot of rhetoric about how these men exerting violence against women feel if it were their sister. For me, I'm extending it to, what if it were you being violated by another person in a similar way? So let's go back to treating each other like equals, you know, irrespective of the gender, irrespective of the age. And perhaps if we went back to that, I do believe it's you know, when those things happen, you have to self-reflect. And it starts from the home, where although there is a hierarchy, if the hierarchy is not reinforced on the children in such a way that, you know, treat this person this way because he's stronger or older, or let's just say, let's be nice to each other because that's what we must be. Because then maybe if we stop reinforcing it from a young age, then we'll just grow old respecting each other. Yeah.
Well, I think the fact that people are speaking out now is already a step in the right direction, because people are taking notice, but they need to be heard. Because it doesn't help that people are speaking out on this problem, but no actions are being taken. No one's being taken seriously. There's all these gaps, and we now know that this problem is really a big problem, but people need to start taking action, serious action. And people need to start thinking about each other, considering each other, helping each other, and giving that support to people, not only that are victims, but everyone needs to get involved. Not only people that have actually been victims of gender-based violence, but people, we need to realize that it affects us all. And when we do that, people will start taking action, and that's what I think needs to be done to start by eliminating this really, really big problem.
I really don't think that it's possible to completely eradicate it, but however, I think there are measures that could be taken to actually try and control the situation. So in bringing back the death sentence, I think that could try in the sense that it could instill some fear in this man who would actually try and think about violating women once again, but that could lead to also women falsely accusing other men, and that would not be a good thing. Yeah,
I think we need to get to the root of why it happens. That way it will be easier to eliminate it, because these men don't care. Whether you are educated, you are not educated, you are empowered, you are not empowered, you have money, you don't have money. So the most important thing is to start from when people are young, because when children are young, it's easier to teach them that you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do this. You treat other people as your equals. You don't see a woman and say, just because you're a woman, it means you can't do this. Just because you're a woman, it means I can just beat you up. Just because you're a woman, it means you don't have potential, or that means I have to take care of you, you can't do things on your own. So we need to teach women that they can be able to do things on their own. And also this thing of when people are married or are in relationships, when they break up with their partners, we now look down on them, or we say, why did you do that? That means you can't keep a relationship. That means leave people to live. If a person is at the point where they feel like, I can't take this anymore, let them go. Parents should also be able to allow their daughters to come back home. If a person is saying, I'm no longer comfortable in this situation, allow your daughter to come back home. Don't let your daughter stay in a place where they don't feel safe, they don't feel happy, and they end up being killed just because you want them to stay in a happy marriage when they don't even feel happy at that time. And I also think that to eliminate this gender-based violence is to increase penalties on these men and women who abuse children and people who abuse other people. Okay, what should I say? Yes, you increase penalties. Like, you don't just let people come out of jail when they have been in jail for like a year. Why would you let someone be in jail for a year when they have committed such crimes? Obviously, if you take them back to the society, there's a probability that they will do it again. So I think value should be put on women. They should not be devalued.
If you were granted one wish to change our country's state of violence against women, what would your wish be?
It is very unfortunate that women have to always take precaution and always be aware of their surroundings, always having to walk with a friend and download an emergency and safety app. In fact, I would change the mentality about how people look at rape. Instead of teaching women how not to get raped, let's teach our men not to rape.
I would just wish that everything stops. Yeah, I wish everyone could see the life with another perspective, can see love. I mean, you can't treat badly something or someone that you love. So it's really important that we cultivate love, we cultivate that we love one another, and yeah, I think it's about time that everything stops. That is my wish.
Educate, educate, educate. I heard the president saying something about bringing a boy child and treating and spending as much attention on the boy child as we have been on the girl child. But for me, it limits itself to educate, educate, educate. Let's raise our boys to respect the girls. Let's raise each other to respect the younger one at heart. You know, right now gender-based violence is focusing on women being abused or hurt by the men, but it goes both ways. There are cases out there, and I'm sure there are many cases of gender-based violence against the men that are not being documented just because for whatever reason. So for me, right now, yes, the focus is on gender-based violence against women, but then we cannot just focus on educating the boy. We also have to educate the girl, and we have to educate the girl as well in terms of what they can tolerate from someone else. What they can, what should be inexcusable, you know, because some girls were probably, they saw it from a young age, and maybe they've normalized certain cases of gender-based violence, and we have to educate both the boy and the girl. The boy against doing it to the girl, but against receiving it from the girl, and vice versa.
I think I would wish for people's hearts to be filled with compassion and care, not only for women but for everyone. If we start respecting one another as people and start considering each other, we would be less inclined to do such things. So I would wish that people would just have more compassion and more care for everyone. Yeah, that would be my wish.
I am such a firm believer in raising your kids in a right way. So if that could be taught at home, both young boys and young girls, they could be taught this is wrong, you're not allowed to do this and this and this. If they grow up with that thing, then I do believe that we'll have a better chance at having a greater future.
Wish would be that men should just stop it. They should stop looking at women as objects. I think that's what they do. They just look at them and say, you mean nothing. That's why it's so easy for them to do these things. I think they should see value in women. Women are very important. As I said before, they are the life giver. They are a gift from God. And because God gives life, and from God we have women who also give life. So it's very important to protect women. Men should have a change of heart. They should be more caring and more kind to women. and they should understand that women are important. I think that's what I would want to change. And also, if that doesn't change, I would like there to be harsher sentences against men who do these things. I don't know, because I feel like I don't know where it comes from deep within them. I feel like something should change inside of them. I just hope that they change and they become more kinder, they protect women, and they see them as something that is more important than just objects, I think. Yeah.
If all men in the country were watching this video, were listening to you right now, what would you tell them, ask them, or urge them to do?
Then don't forget that your first home was a woman for 9 months. If you want to show your strength and power, then redirect it into making women feel safe and protecting them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stop. We need to stop with those violences. We need to stop being silent. We need to speak out. We need to understand that we are all part of this. Whether you don't know that girl who was raped, think about your sister, think about your daughter, maybe you will see it differently. It's very important that we all come together and fight against it. And I think we will be stronger that way.
Oh, that is a difficult one. I'm not gonna say men are trash because because that doesn't help, and I know that there are men that are not trash out there. That doesn't help. What would I say to the boys or to the men out there? One love, treat each other equally, respect the woman as if it were yourself. Whether you know them, whether you do not know them, every time you see a woman, think about someone close to you, and before you raise your hand or you emotionally abuse this woman or you go as far as they've gone these days, think about if this were you, if this were your sister, or if this were your mother. So respect the woman.
I would tell them to consider their mothers, their daughters, their wives, and think about how they would want them to be treated. How would they want their daughters or wives or mothers to be treated? And with that in mind, I would want them to teach their sons and teach their fellow man to respect women, to respect one another, and to instill those qualities in the next generation of people that will take us into the future, because the problem can only be stopped if we start teaching people kindness and care, and that starts with the men who are supposed to support us and, you know, teach our children and instill that respect and compassion in them. So I'd really tell them to start doing that, start teaching each other, start helping each other and motivating each other to respect not only women but to respect everyone around them and consider them.
So I think if men would be bold enough about actually talking about this gender-based violence with other men, you know, they make it not such a taboo thing to talk about, but be open about it, actually campaigning as much as women are campaigning about it right now. So I really do think men should be more open about gender-based violence, and they should also talk to their kids and their families and their brothers out there that it is not okay to do such. And I've seen few campaigns of men, but mostly they are celebrity men who are actually campaigning against this gender-based violence. So if that would be carried out, that would be so cool.
I would urge men to seek help. If you feel like you are a person who's violent, maybe internally, or you like that, then seek help. Instead of taking your anger and beating up a woman, or if you feel like you have issues inside of you, seek help. There are many places where you can find help. You get counseling and you become fine, and you just stop taking whatever that is inside of you on another person, because that doesn't help you with anything. And also stop thinking that you own another person. You don't own another person. A person is not yours. For example, if you are in a relationship and the person decides to leave you, don't now kill the person. There's billions of people in the world. You can find another person who will love you. You are not the first person who has someone who has left them. So don't go against the person and kill them, or kill just because you feel like you can do it. It's wrong. I feel like you should know by now that this has been happening for a very long time. So men, if you know that there's someone who's doing these things, don't keep quiet. Talk to that person, stop it. And if they don't stop, you can even report them, because it doesn't help if men keep quiet, because it's not like they don't know that their friend is hitting their girlfriend. It's not like they don't know that their father in the house is beating up their mom. They know. So these are the kind of things that you can stop, because evil roots from when, or let me just put it in simple English, evil comes when good men do nothing. For example, if you are in a place and you see people doing wrong things, and you keep quiet because you say, I'm good, and the other ones are bad. So that thing also affects you in the long run. It could be your daughter in the long run. If you keep quiet about it, one day you'll be burying your daughter who has died in the hands of another man, just because you kept quiet and you felt like at that point it didn't really matter to you. This thing matters. So I think it's important to talk. Break the silence. Women have value. Children have value. Protect them. Yeah, women are alive, so I think it's important for men to be more kinder. And if you feel like you're not doing well as a woman, try things and do well for yourself also. Mm-hmm. The world is full of opportunities. Go for them. If you feel like your woman is getting a PhD and you don't have it, and now you're fighting with her just because she's more educated than you, then what does that say about you? Why don't you get the same opportunities? Mm-hmm. Yes, there are opportunities also for yourself. You can go after them and just stop it, whatever it is. I don't know where it really comes from. To tell the truth, gender-based violence, I don't know the people who do it, I don't know where it comes from, but I think we need to get to the root of it, and we need to protect women and children, and we say no to gender-based violence.
I'd like to thank you very much for staying to the end of the video. Gender-based violence is a very complex issue which still needs more awareness around it, which needs us to take responsibility in educating our brothers, our children, anyone next to you about these issues. And together I believe we can make a huge difference. Together I believe that we can break the silence. If you know anything bad that is happening around you, don't hide the criminals. Come out with it, and let's really tackle this issue. Let's break the silence. Let's not be silent anymore. I do not want to be next. I do not want my sister to be next. I do not want my mom to be next. I do not want my grandmother to be next. I don't want an infant to be next. I don't want anyone to be next. We want to live in a country where we feel safe. We want to live in a country where we do not have to watch our bags each time. We do not want to travel with pepper spray. We don't want to travel with a taser. We don't want to told we can't walk during this hour, we can't walk in this place. We just want to feel safe as human beings. So I am urging you today to be part of the change. You can say something to someone that will really have an impact. I would again urge you to share this video, share this message, and I am also opening the comment section down below for a conversation. Let's have a conversation down in the comment section about gender-based violence. Let's talk about strategies and plans that need to be implemented to stop this. The next video that will be coming up will be a part 2 of this video. Now males will be speaking, men will be speaking up against gender-based violence, and I'm really excited to be going to be doing that video to hear the men's perspective. So watch out for that video, it will be up soon. We are all about change. Thank you very much for watching.